Well, you'll be happy to know this is the second take of my Flipped Friday video because the first one, for some reason, I didn't get it to save the first time. So nothing always goes like it is planned sometimes. So anyway, welcome to Flipped Friday for November 8th. Again, hopefully you appreciate the attempt for me to honor your time by trying to offer these meetings in a different way. We have a lot that's going on, and I attempted to try this myself. I think it's a good way to, well, when I look back at the spring March Madness sessions, that's kind of when this became clear that video is a very powerful educational tool. And if you recall, one of our sessions last spring, the video, which would have been the video operator, which was me, failed to record one of those sessions, and guess which session had the fewest hits on EdCanvas. By the way, EdCanvas is now called BlendSpace, BLENDSPACE.com. If you type in EdCanvas, it'll take you now to BlendSpace, and you can still get into that right through your Google Drive. But clearly, the videos were what you went back to as staff very often. My own August staff in the service video, it's been viewed 117 times. So the two main purposes for flipping these: better differentiate for you, the learner, and also to honor your time as best I can, because time is important for all of us. That said, the danger of this effort is it becomes harder to hold folks accountable. If this was a traditional classroom and you're my traditional students, 20 of you would be failing from our October 18th meeting. At that meeting, and the PowerPoint's on the BlendSpace, you see it there, and I think I've sent a reminder email or maybe a couple. Only 13 of the 33 staff members have provided me with their one thing idea about assessment in your classroom that I had requested in that PowerPoint at the meeting, and then with the reminder. And so, looking at that, I guess that means if it was traditional, 20 of you would fail. Well, clearly that's not where we're headed, because I want you to consider or continue to consider what ways we could possibly change how we assess a student in our classroom to be focused more on performance and to reduce failure rates is the whole point. And so I want you to have that option to continue to demonstrate something that you hope to change. You may, after you view this BlendSpace, not EdCanvas meeting, that you want to update the one thing that you've already turned in, or if you haven't already submitted it, you'll come up with something. And again, this is a great fit as we look at our SLO assessment process and things that could be tried new in that process. Again, to me, that is real world, and it's important enough that I want you to come up with something that requires my help. I can certainly do that. If not, I'll support the idea that you have. But not coming up with something isn't really an option. Or again, I don't think any of you would want to have partial credit at this point because I don't have it yet. So again, continue to work on that, and maybe something in this presentation will help you move forward there. One piece I do want to address directly from questions from the note cards on the 18th was the remediation policy piece, and that is located on page 13 of your student handbook. I did paste it into window number, I believe it's window number 4, on the EdCanvas if you want to review it. And really the only thing that Rick Wormley would say that would contradict is number 4, which in our policy it says a one week requirement to have that remediation done. Although in all of our discussions, we had agreed as a staff, we probably should have taken that a couple of years ago, that if you want to allow more time, that the classroom professional has that option to allow as much time as they feel they want, and many of you do that. Number 5 says, student will at least earn at least a passing mark. So again, it allows for any level of credit to be given, up to full credit for that. So for that, should we throw out remediation was the question on one note card. My answer, in the future, we could look out to throw out number 4. But as I read our remediation, those steps, to me, it really supports the concept of grading, of grades matching performance, not just compliance. And as I have done several times and will continue to do, keep asking each of you, especially whether you disagree with me, and I've had discussions with many of you about this, which is awesome, or if you disagree with me privately, that's fine too. But as you look at your grades, do they reflect the student's ability to perform what you want them to be able to perform or not? Is their grade falsely low because they're not compliant? Is it falsely high because they are super compliant and what we would call responsible kids? Look at it a different way. If we took our NISA data and 90% of our 8th graders, let's say, were met or exceeded a standard in pick a content, whether it's math or language arts or whatever, Probably should have my cell phone off, huh? If 90% of our junior students were passing, then, again, if they met or exceeded the NISA standards, then a direct correlate would be that 90% of them also would be at least passing, and maybe even you could say a C or better in that content area that they met or exceeded the standards on the NISA test. Conversely, we certainly wouldn't expect that if that same 90%, met or exceeded the standards in that content area, that we would have a 25 or a 30% failure rate in that particular area. So to me, that would say our grades aren't matching our students' ability to perform, and likely that's because of compliance issues in our grades. I suppose it could be that the student was just lucky on the assessment, and that's also possible. So the first thing I'd like you to do in this flipped meeting is to review the number 2 window pane on the blend space, and that says questions or concerns. I think you have to click on the T, and that will take you into a Google Drive, or there could, if you're in the actual presentation, if you click on the Google Drive, it takes you to a Google Doc, and that is all of the questions or concerns listed from the note cards from the meeting that day, or from emails for the staff that were gone that day. So I tried to group them into a few different categories to pare it down a little bit. And I thought it came down to time and concept and just kind of the general, how do I pull this off kind of thing. The majority of you probably fit into the concept piece, arguing that it doesn't really seem real world to work with this kind of a concept. And real world meaning open-ended remediation or full credit, or if they never did anything, why would I give them a chance to do it again? So those types of things. And again, I think I can't make that judgment for you, but there was a lot of questions about that. Some of them I did combine, so it's not like it's a total list. If some people said the same thing 3 or 4 times, I didn't put it on there 3 or 4 times. I just combined them into one statement. But that's why it's important for you to review that number 2 document, find where you fit. And if you were in that camp that you just struggle with the concept and that you just don't think it's a real world application, then I want you to watch the Warmly video that I believe is pane number 5, and about late work. Okay, so it's the only Warmly video on there. I think it's pane number 5, but it's about late work. If you're more in the, how do I do this, or the time thing scares you, or you're kind of ready to make a move, but you're just struggling with that first step, then there's a couple videos on pane number 6 that are from the Eye Observation Resource Library. If you haven't spent any time in the Eye Observation Resource Library, if there's things you have questions about in that model, man, there's information in there that is great. Short videos, there's documents, there's basically graphic organizers to help the teacher plan different parts of their lesson. Anyway, enough of that right now, but there's actually 2, a short video from Dr. Marzano himself and a short video of a teacher talking about making that switch from traditional grading to more of a standards-based grading process. So you have to decide, looking at that list, where you may fit the most. And again, they're all, I think the longest video is 7.5 minutes or so you're not going to waste any time if you watch all of them, but that certainly isn't the case. So I want you to be able to choose, looking at that list of questions and concerns, what best describes you right now, and then watch the video links that are connected to what best describes you now, so it has the most impact on where your questions are. After you watch that, again, the last pane has what's called a quiz. And again, a quiz isn't the point that I'm trying to catch anybody, but that's my way, again, to formatively assess where we're at now and what is needed next. What do I need to do next? So again, totally appreciate everybody's efforts. This has been a challenging fall. I'm excited. I'm a little over halfway through my SLO's process. I'm hoping to get those done today. If I have to redo this video a 3rd time, that may not happen. But I'm excited about those conferences. You can expect a few conferences will be set up on Wednesday, on the early dismissal day. And we'll try to group some people together that have some like content. And some of you have, I may contact you individually because maybe your deal is so individual that it wouldn't fit into a group very well. So, we're going to try to hit those and make them, and use our time as wisely as we can. So thank you. If you have any questions or have trouble navigating this thing, please email me, and I will see if I can help you. Have a great weekend.